is.
Okay.
And let me make sure that this is totally off. Totally off. Totally off. Totally off. There it is. I'm totally off.
Okay. Mine isn't, so
Okay. You want to try and put it off?
I'm just gonna trust God.
Okay.
All right. So my name is Viola Jackson, and this is RAFAEL CRUZ, one of my favorite, my favorite client. I should be honest. I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but I do, and he's it. And I'm really honored to get to coach him today for the purpose of this recording for mentor coaching. So today is Thursday, June 3rd. It's 1:27 p.m. And Rafa, I'd love to just get started by having you share a little bit about your progress from since the last time we met.
Good afternoon, V.
Good afternoon.
As far as progress from last time, I have revamped the space, the gym, and in the direction that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more organization. The room is more open now, and we have lighting and camera tripods and whatnot. I have connected equipment to the computer now, so there's you can say that we have now a hands-on production desk, and then a remote production desk over there through the computer.
Wow.
Still have some steps to finish up, so that's one. I've spoken with Fena, and we're recording tomorrow.
Nice.
I got Coach Sergio Escobar, to agree to do a series of 4
Okay.
podcasts.
Okay.
That's going to be the next series of podcasts.
Nice.
And we're beginning recording next Friday. That's
Okay.
That's the only time he's available. And that's pretty much the gist of it. And just more clarity over that. On the other side, we talked about that thought process. I have not continued that concept hands-on, more in my head. But I feel comfortable overall with the progress that we've done.
Okay, that's awesome. I had a question for you, and that is, you gave yourself a deadline of June 15th to have 6 to 8 podcasts in the queue ready to distribute by that date. So where does that put you based on what you just shared?
Happening tomorrow would be 60, 70%.
Okay. And then how are you feeling in terms of reaching your goal by the 15th at this point?
Good.
Yeah.
Feel good.
If
I mean,
it's
it's a challenge.
Yes.
It's a challenge, but that's fine.
You're putting a demand on your potential.
You could say that. Yeah, you could say that.
That's awesome.
It's challenging. It's there's definitely lots of distractions. With family in town and changing kid by the day and whatnot. But that's a deadline.
Right.
So can't erase that.
No. Well, you made it so that you and you're doing really great with the progress, and so thank you for sharing that. Would it be okay before we start today's session if I just prayed for us?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. So Jesus, thank you so much for the opportunity just to be here with you again today with Rafa. Thank you for your presence with us, and I ask that you would just give each of us a spirit of wisdom, revelation, in the knowledge of who you are and the desires that you have for your son Rafa. Lord, give us eyes to see and ears to hear what the Holy Spirit is saying for him, and how he can best move forward in the plans that he has, in the desires of his heart to reach his goals and his dreams. And I take authority over anything that would come to steal, kill, destroy, or distract right now his peace, this session. And also, just I bless the technology to work well as we record this video. And I just thank you, Lord, for your grace and going ahead of us and making this an awesome session. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. So tell me, Rafa, what would you like to focus on today?
Well, maybe if there's any housekeeping on your agenda, any questions like that. And I wanted to focus on questions as far as what strength training, how strength training helps people, individuals, be better with their business, or just better. What process happens when a person is strength training that actually has carryover to business applications. Starting something that's hard and continuing through it as a process of mastery and an outcome, which is very descriptive of the process of strength training.
Okay. So, any housekeeping that I might have on my agenda, and questions as far as what how strength training helps people, how it carries over into other areas of their life, such as business, the application to business, or just in general areas in their lives. And where would you like your plane to land by the end of this session today?
To have that concept formulated clearly in a way that we can articulate which ways strength training can be applicable for someone who is in business or someone looking to go into business.
To have that concept formulated clearly in a way that we can articulate how strength training can be applicable to someone going in business or going into business. Okay. Great. Thank you. And what makes this important to you?
Well, I am in business myself, and I am in the business of strength training. And I'm looking to go into business with a podcast and other lines of other ideas that I have. And I tell you, it wasn't until I got into strength training itself that I got narrow enough of an intention. Let's just put it this way: fitness, it's a thing. Fitness is a universe, and inside that universe, there's from people call it Zumba to anything else. Hanging off of a building, of the side of a building, and jumping and doing really risky things, and all of that. It's supposed to be appealing, and maybe it is. But trying those things never helped me focus or narrow my intention. So it wasn't until I got to do a strength training that I had something very measurable, such as just pounds that I can lift. And then I had to learn and master technique and technical approaches and programming approaches in order to get to those steps, and or follow through those steps, and also in my capacity now guide other people to follow through with those steps. So that describing that process itself, it has some relationships to business, to what business is like, specifically because of processes and programs in my ad hoc definition right now. It's something you put together to have for an expected outcome. And people should be doing that in business. You can't go into business with just a cavalier attitude, wishing for the best.
Right. Okay. Excellent. So it sounds like this is important to you, from what I hear you saying, is because you have some ideas. You're in business already, of course, in the business of strength training, but you also have some expanded ideas, the podcast and other things that you want to expand your business. And the strength training has really helped you to narrow your focus and your intentions. And the value of that is that the strength training has really kind of given you that ability to focus your attention on something measurable. And that you've learned how to master certain techniques and technical approaches in order to follow through, and also to be able to help others. And so describing that process, what makes it important to you is being able to describe that process and how it relates to business.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say we need to address in order to achieve your desire to have that concept formulated clearly in a way that you can articulate how training can be applicable to business?
Because neither getting strong or going into business is easy.
Okay.
Both those processes are challenging by default. And across spectrums, you'll find individuals who have certain ease for certain things. In strength training, someone might be a great squatter, but have you could say not up to par with the squat upper body strength. In business, you can have people who sell very well, but they can't manage and whatnot. So once, I'm speaking things that are obvious, but when you actually realize that none of those things are easy, and you approach them anyway, and you approach them with the expectation of success, and you understand that that's a long game, both business and strength training, in my estimation at least, are long game or long term activities.
Right.
Because you can't be cavalier about it, and you're going to fail, and you're going to get back at it. So I think understanding that that's the expectation of it, that's what you're facing.
Okay. So understanding that neither process is easy, that they're both challenging, both the strength training as well as going into business, and approaching, even though they're hard, you choose to approach them anyway,
Right.
with the expectation of success.
Right.
So that's something that you could address. What else would you say needs to be addressed in order to come out with that clarity of articulation, being able to articulate this whole concept?
People.
Okay, tell me a little more about that.
Well, people get strong.
Mm-hmm.
People get strong. People get into business. And people get strong and people get into business. And there's always somebody else attached to those processes.
Mm.
Always. Who do you call to do your moving?
Mm-hmm.
Your strong friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who do you call for, some sort of advice or some sort of idea, something? Your business friends.
Mm.
If it is about health, you call your health friends.
Right.
So who's doing what? So some people don't want to lift their cases of water. Some people don't want to lift their luggage.
Mm-hmm.
So they may as well choose that strength training is not for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's too hard. I'd rather have somebody else do it for me, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. Not everybody's going to be the CEO of their own company
Mm-hmm.
either.
Mm-hmm.
But you have so the people aspect of right now. What I'm trying to say is, you have to. People have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, a person has to make a decision of, I'm going to do this. I'm deciding to go into business.
Okay.
I'm deciding to put 315 pounds, 155 pounds, 160 pounds, and expect that next week or 2 months from now is going to be 175 pounds.
Right.
You have to be comfortable with understanding that by a year from now, you have to work hard enough to make $275,000 for next year, and then the next year is going to be 300, 400. Inch up,
That's
inch
it.
up,
Right.
and that's not comfortable because the minute you realize that that's either going to petrify you, it's petrifying.
Yeah.
It's petrifying. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Uncomfortable, petrifying, a lot of work.
It's more than uncomfortable.
Yeah, more than.
It's more than uncomfortable, actually.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so those are a few of the things that I hear you saying that we should address today, that neither process is easy. By default, they're both challenging, but the choice to do it anyway with the expectation of success. The second one was people. That people get strong and people go into business, but there's always other people attached to those processes, and everyone won't make that choice for themselves, but those that choose to, you want to be able to offer them these kind of nuggets, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think right now I've spoken to. My intention is show how strength training actually helps, but right now I have drawn some similarities in between. Between the two. But here is how they are actually, one helps you with the other.
Okay.
And even if you don't have a business, you start doing some strength training, and there's an aspect of or your improvement that transfers into other areas of your life.
Okay.
When you start here specifically, but other places too, what you find is a guide, a how-to thing.
Okay.
If you go to open your business here in South Florida, You go to somebiz.org,
Mm-hmm.
and there's instructions on how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
When you start strength training, that's exactly how you start. You get
Mm-hmm.
instructions on what to do, how to do it.
Right.
um, and more often than not, things go very well right off the bat until something happens.
Okay.
So one thing that I stress here, um, to the fault of being obnoxious about it, is that everyone keeps a training log,
Mm-hmm.
logging. If you're expected to do 3 sets of 5 repetitions,
Mm-hmm.
and you missed the last rep on your last set, then you log it that way. In business, that's also very useful.
Mm.
Very, very useful. Really keeping tight records of your business activity.
Okay.
And some people just don't have the patience for logging their training or logging their business.
Okay.
And then something goes wrong, or they get stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know what happens.
Mm.
If you don't save your receipts, for example, and then you can't do a self audit, so then you don't know where your money went.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
Obviously, that's a very simplistic, almost infantile approximation,
Mm-hmm.
but from a process standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
that's what needs to happen.
Okay. Great. So you've got some really great points here that we can dive into, and we've already started to dive into some of the thought processes behind those, as far as what we need to address today. Anything else that you want to add? You've got what, the process not being easy, talking about the people aspect of it, how one particularly strength training can
Okay.
transfer over into other areas of life, business, and so forth. Is there anything else that you'd like to process?
Yes, 2 things.
Okay.
One is going to be a short anecdote,
Okay.
and the other one is speaking specifically and precisely about the lifter.
Okay.
The lifter as an entity that is transforming through the process. So the little anecdote is that I used to be a member of a gym, back in the day, and I only went in there to do a strength training, and I did not know what was happening around me, because I would literally use some very heavy headphones that were in fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and a hoodie on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't go in the gym to look at anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to be looked at. So I would literally cover myself head to toe
Mm-hmm.
in all my gear,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go in there and start lifting.
Okay.
I made progress, I made progress, I made progress. And little did I know that other people were noticing.
That other people were
noticing.
Noticing,
They were actually
watching.
keeping track
Oh.
over time
Wow.
of my progress.
Oh.
And finally, after months into it, some serious people approached me, including Dr. C, who approached me so I can coach him and his wife.
Wow.
And I found several clients through that first interaction.
Wow.
From that same gym.
Wow.
So trust me, people are paying attention. People are paying attention.
Okay.
Because here comes the lifter. The lifter is transforming. The lifter is transforming, and that in and of itself is your own movie, is your own story, is your own hero's journey. And guess what? Everybody pays attention to a good story unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
So as a business owner, as a business leader, the more you can inspire in different ways, the more impact or influence you can have when you come to the table to negotiate.
Mm. Good. That's powerful, Rafa. That's really, really powerful. That, yeah, and so true. Yeah, just that you're writing your story's unfolding
Mm-hmm.
as you enter into that process, whether it's the strength training, specifically in your case, in that story where you started off and got stronger, and it attracted, is what I hear you saying, is that people were attracted to you as a result of what they saw happening to you.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And you weren't even aware of it.
No,
yeah.
no, I was not. Actually, the a little bit more on that anecdote is that one of the other people that approached me not knowing who exactly I was, and Dr. C, and they're common friends as well. They're doctors, they're into doctoring. When she approached me, she told me, "Oh, you know what is? I find you because you're the guy who bends the bar.
Oh.
All the weight on each side just bends the bar. Because other people were doing squats.
Right.
But no one bent the bar.
Oh wow, well, that stood out.
The guy with the hoodie, the ones who bends the bar.
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
you'd be surprised to what people pay attention to. It's like with the guys who bend the bar. What does that? What's that?
That became your trademark.
Well,
kind of.
According to them, they identified me by that.
Wow.
So you don't know what people are really paying attention to, and then if you connect, if you make that connection, that ¿cómo se dice? Vínculo.
Yeah. Vínculo. Yeah.
Yeah, but
connection. It's like a link.
Yes, tether. If you tether around that, then you can move around and still be tied. And that's what the part that goes into business.
Okay, that's really cool.
Because connected is being in the same membership, in the same gym.
Right.
But now you found something that now you have a story to tell.
Right.
And they have their own version of the same story.
Right. That's beautiful. Wow, thank you for sharing that. Okay, and then you mentioned Lifter as an entity that's transforming through the process. It sounds like that, what you just shared, kind of spills it over into the second thing, or did you have
That's it.
two things? Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
One is the anecdote of, I'm here I am, in the process of strength training, getting stronger for myself. But there's people that are noticing that actually gave me business because of that.
Okay.
So that's how it translates, the inspiration part of it. And then it is inspirational both for other people and yourself, because it is your own story.
Right. So it's kind of like I hear you saying it's inspirational and transactional. Does that?
Yeah, it is transactional. Well, it is transactional. It
the
can,
result of it, not it itself, but what, like, you started to gain business as a result.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, it's not like I went in the gym with a shirt that said personal trainer.
Right.
But, and here's the useful thing to draw from here is other people are going to get inspired by you, whether you know it or not. And that is going to generate interest. And if you're selling something, which that's what you're trying to do, you're going into business, then you can bring more influence to the negotiating table.
Okay. Wonderful. Awesome.
I mean, if The Rock didn't look so huge and big, he'd have no business doing a hero movie.
Right.
I mean, that kind of hero movie, at the very least. That kind of hero movie.
Okay. So you mentioned you've given me a lot of really excellent detail for each one of these. Is there more that you want? You mentioned the fact that neither process is easy, that they're both challenging, and just the whole idea of approaching them anyway with the expectation of success. Is there more that you wanted to share about that, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Easy.
I should say, what else would you like to share about that? Forgive me.
Easy is, you know, that person in the party who everybody knows is there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that person in the party that's no one knows is there.
Mm-hmm.
That person is easy.
Mm.
That's what
Explain.
easy is.
Okay.
Easy is unnoticeable.
Okay.
When you do hard things, you get noticed. From all the friends that a person can have, the one who says, I run marathons, that person gets attention. You're going to value in some respect what that person has to say about certain things.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good. So easy is unnoticeable, and when you do hard things, you get noticed.
Yeah. You get noticed. It's just a matter of how we are. I mean, that's why, you don't hear good news in the news. Because good news are not easy.
It's not easy, right?
I mean, I'm being hyperbolic here, but just to draw the point.
Yeah.
So that's that. But there's also the other aspect, and it's almost paradoxical that we're going to talk about this in this sort of relationship right here, because it's the coaching relationship, the mentoring relationship of actually achieving something hard. It goes back to people. It's never really alone.
Okay.
It's never really alone. You don't do anything alone. Even when you think you're doing something alone, at the very core of it, you have your genetics. At the very core of it, you have your upbringing, your culture, your education. So at least at some point, somebody has taught you something, and you're drawing from that.
Right.
But to be more specific, in barbell training and also in business, there's also going to be someone to show you, to guide you, to guide you. Some of it is more tutorial guide, some of it is more conceptual guide, or accountability style guide of some sort of it. But that's that aspect also of strength training. Is not something you can do of a application.
Okay.
Something that you do face to face.
Face to face.
Yeah, coaching, strength training, It's not a. You're not watching TV while you're doing it.
I have seen people doing cycling or whatever, and they have like a movie going while they're cycling.
Well, to that, I was driving this morning and I hear Mark Ribito from Starting Strength saying if what you do can be replaced by an algorithm, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
If what you do can be replaced by an algorithm, then you are replaceable.
Oh, wow.
Then you are replaceable.
Wow, that's a profound thought.
You have to find in your specific arena of expertise, you need to find that which is not replaceable. because otherwise, why is anybody going to bother, texting you or dialing you or anything like that?
Wow, that's a profound thought. Okay, and then as far as the aspect of improvement that transfers to another area of your life, let's see, we talked about things going well until something happens. And you talked about stressing that everyone in the gym keep a log and that that's also applicable in business. Is there, what else would you like to say about that?
Um, I'm going to try to answer that question with two almost totally unrelated
Okay.
ideas.
Okay.
Logging your training, is it's is a metaphysical contract with your future self. Logging your training is a metaphysical contract with your future self. Because when you log your training, it allows you to predict, to make your next prediction without it being a wild guess. And if I want to say that, if I want to predict, be able to predict business trends,
Mm-hmm.
data needs to be there.
Mm.
And that is what a training log is: data.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back and look at your training log, either by yourself or with your coach, then you can make analysis, and you can make, you can make reports, you can do excerpts, you can do extrapolations, you can do comparisons, you can do a whole bunch of things because you have the data. And in that respect, that's more of a similarity again. But if you don't learn to think in those ways, if a person doesn't really learn to think in those ways, business may not go as well as they could manage to do business.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, because it's the thought process. You've heard me say that I like to think while I speak, and that's when I stress that part of my personality of it, which is a thought process. You can actually learn to, in a way, do something by proxy because you are already thinking in those patterns. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like people that call their pets baby. Yeah, you can eventually be a good parent.
Right. Okay, and you said two different ideas that weren't necessarily related, so that was the...
So that's that, and also the other idea that is unrelated, and this might be a wild attempt at making some sort of link, is buying a house.
Okay.
When you are buying a house, everything seems to be going well until you need a realtor, because they're the ones who know where to look to find what you need. So that's not going well. That thought is not going well. But excuse me. when you have data uh, in both strength training and lifting, at the very least you can have an expert look at it. Even if you don't understand what's going on, you can have an expert look at it.
Okay.
I guess that's the connection I was trying to make with a realtor and a house buying process. You know, it's so many moving parts, or complicated or new enough that you have an expert help you.
Gotcha.
But it's only because you have certain things that need to be that can be looked at. If you have nothing, you have nothing.
And that's the data.
That's the data.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, so
the last part of it is just lift some fucking weights, man, because you don't want to be a weakling.
Say that one more time.
Just lift some fucking weights,
okay.
Man, because you don't want to be a weakling.
Okay.
You don't want to be a pushover. What kind of person just walks around willingly, just looking down, just not to find a problem?
Okay.
If you're stronger than you were 2 years ago, at the very least you walk outside with your chest, up and your shoulders back. And you look at people in the eye, and then you can say no. Which is more freedom than not being able to do that.
Right. So there's the confidence that people gain from lifting.
That's right.
Wonderful. So Rafa, you have like an amazing it's not so much a list, but it's a very rich, I would say, kind of, I don't even know what the right word is, but it's very rich. So what would you like to do with all this? So you've got it recorded, and we've got lots of really excellent notes about some really profound thoughts that you have about business and how or strength training rather, and how it relates to business. What would you like to do with all of this?
Refine it.
Okay.
Refine, take a look at it, edit it, make it cohesive so that we can articulate it clearly. And when I say we, I mean we're talking about both of us, because
Refine
people
it.
need to hear it.
Yes. Refine it, take a look at it, edit it.
So we can refine it, edit it, so that we can articulate it clearly.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to do with this?
Share it.
And share it. Okay. So what does the refining process, what does that need to look like?
Well, first of all, write it down. Write it down, the whole process that I have explained before. It's going to take care of that. Then take all those bunch of sentences and seeing where in, let's just say as a narrative standpoint, where they fit.
Okay.
So that if this is an article, it could be a readable article. And then take the essence out of that. And share it. If it is an article, let's share the article. If it is a talk, let's share it in talk format. I don't have admin power, but clerical, let's put it that way. But I can think of make this some sort of a presentation.
Definitely.
Let's invite business leaders to experience why they should be doing strength training, and we give this presentation as part of, ideally with other resources attached to this. Hey, you know what? If you're a business leader and you, let's say, join our XYZ, you know, you are welcome on board with a presentation, and here's a whole bunch of resources through the portal. Through the portal, what are the resources? Well, you can definitely have access. Not that you need us, but we'll link you up. We'll make an introduction to Miss Viola Jackson from Viola International, and you know, you can speak more business through that. You know, networking.
Right, networking.
Is, I think it's part of a networking tool.
Okay. Awesome.
Chamber of Commerce presentation.
Wow. You're coming up with some fabulous thoughts here. Great ideas.
Trifold brochure. You know, those big businesses, you know, like commercial boulevard. You know, print 3,000 of those, place it in selected where businesses, you know, business people go.
Good. Those are great ideas. So refine it, write it down. It can be turned into an article, make it readable, use the essence of it and share it in a talk format, a presentation, invite business leaders to experience why they should be doing strength training, attach other resources to this, invite business leaders to join the gym through this message, also putting it on your website, and using it to draw and attract attention that way, and then networking through things like the Chamber of Commerce and other, we mentioned the trifold brochure idea. Okay, anything else that you want to add to ways of
business wise? This is the kind of thing that when I take e-learning modules, this is kind of like the essential part, the essential type of breakdown you just don't necessarily get from quick YouTube videos.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So this is the kind of, all right, so you live in China or somewhere, but you know you want to have access to certain kind of information, and you know, if it's not even going to cost you much, it's just going to cost you $3.99, and you get a password, and you know you get an account, and then because that way then you can scale. Right. You know, as we do these things and we record them and blah 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 blah, we can have a syllabus. Let's say if over the next 6 months we're going to address X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, blah 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 blah, and then all of that is going to be built, could be built into learning modules. Okay. And then you have curricula. Okay.
Those are amazing ideas. What out of all of those options that you just shared do you want to pursue?
Well, all of them, but I don't have the scope right now. So in scope, I can only see as far as what I'm doing now. Okay. Which is, let's take this audio, transcribe it. Okay. And get audiograms from them. Okay. I mean, not that I'm going to, but you know, essentially. Okay. That would be, I mean, if you want to use this audio, since this is your, you know, your session, you know, I would say transcribe it and share it with your other people that, you know, for advertising purposes, and as far as the text myself, um, I like to make an article out of it.
Article. Okay.
Article.
Okay. And so taking the audio and transcribing it, you mentioned making an audiogram
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, those are ideas. More straightforward. Transcribe it for article purposes.
transcribe it for article
Just
purposes.
specific to that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And by when would you like to do that?
That's out there. Yeah.
Out there. Okay.
That's out there. When I say out there, I'm talking about next 2-3 months, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not in my front burn
Okay.
right now. As a matter of, let's say, publishing, as a matter of processes,
Mm-hmm.
it starts right away.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect me to, have an article and be published, in the next 2-3 weeks, because I already have,
Mm-hmm.
my deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
So
what will you do with this, specifically taking the audio and transcribing it to prepare it for an article between now and the next time we meet? What will you do?
it'll be transcribed,
Okay.
which is a software-driven process.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's but very likely, because editing takes a lot of eyeball
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
attention.
Okay.
I probably would have done 0 to 5% editing to that,
Okay.
and that would be that.
Excellent. Okay, so Rafa, your goal today was to have a concept formulated clearly in a way that you can articulate how training can be applicable to someone going into business on a scale of 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
10 being you feel like you landed where you wanted to, and 1 being we missed the mark altogether. Where would you say you?
I would say this is an 8 in my estimation.
Okay.
Just because I think there needs to be more cohesive transitions between these ideas
Mm-hmm.
that I can articulate,
Mm-hmm.
and there is no solid reference to studies or
Okay.
other authoritative voices out
Okay.
there. That always closes the deal in some arguments.
Got you.
So yeah.
Okay.
It needs to be tighter, more, ¿cómo se dice? Hermético.
I don't know. Cohesive.
Teflon proof.
Teflon proof.
It
Okay.
needs to be Teflon proof.
Okay. Okay. Very good. And let's see. So, is this a good place for us to kind of wrap this up for you
Yes.
today? You feel like you've accomplished what you?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is it. I mean, what's not done, it's clear why, or
Okay.
yeah.
What would be one of your highlights or takeaways from today's session?
I'm not sure how to answer that. It's a great session, just like the ones we have.
Okay.
Just a great session.
Okay.
I don't know. One of the highlights, very. You gave me a lot of opportunities to come back to the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
Even when I tended to run away based on making the whole concept clear, you guided me to the opportunity to come back and speak more about them with more clarity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And what's one thing I could have done that would have been helpful, more helpful?
Can't think about anything like that. That's why I think about our other sessions, which are always, like this.
Well, if you think of something, you can always
Okay.
text me.
Okay.
Usually I think of it like after the fact, like when I'm driving down the road and then I'm like, oh yeah, I could have. Definitely. Okay. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to coach you. I just have one more question for you, and that is what would help you to hold yourself or have accountability to get the information transcribed and start that process?
Yeah, yeah. Saying no.
To
This to typically saying no to solicitations of my time, unscheduled solicitations of my time. Yeah, that's where it goes. That's where it goes.
Totally understand.
Yeah, unexpected phone calls, people walking in the door. Can you help me with this X, Y, and Z? Yeah, that.
So, what would help you to overcome that obstacle of
I mean,
the distractions?
this may sound like resistance, a little bit of resistance, but it's just a struggle for me, because I am already in business, and that's the people part of it. Like right now, I kind of had to push people away so that we can get ourselves started.
Right.
That
Right.
I have to
So just do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
do that. I have to. We're done here. Let's schedule another time.
Okay.
So that we can continue this. But for whatever time we have, that's it.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. So between now and the next time we meet, you're gonna find time to.
Yeah. And I do. I sit there. It's just more clearly. And I wouldn't say that the thought of taking this step is daunting for me. No,
Okay.
It's
Doable.
It's very doable.
Okay.
Because it's technologically driven.
Right. Got it. Well, thank you, Rafa. This has been a great session, and I gave it my best, and I hope it's been useful to you.
Very, very. Thank you, V. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And another great session, and lots to draw from it. I am very grateful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
me too. Thank you.